Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another reaction video, and we're going to be looking into something that's been developing. Oh, sorry, my model came in all late. We're going to be looking into something that's been happening recently, and kind of want to dive in to what the whole deal is going on. And the video is by Decoy Voice. He does excellent videos. I love his content. Actually, I'm a subscriber, as you can see, whatnot. I encourage you to do the same. To go subscribe to his channel. His videos are no nonsense. Gets right to the point. And yeah, shout out to Decoy Voice. I think I sent a super chat. Yeah, I sent a super chat a while back when he was covering the election and whatnot. It was he covered the election pretty good. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, so what apparently is happening is in Seattle, Washington, Seattle, is that a group of Antifa, okay, down here, it's in the description. It says down here in the description, in Seattle, in Washington, protests are returning as May Day, USA held a concert. I'm assuming that's the artist. Okay, but attracted a large group of protesters, aka Antifa. 3 days later, when their protest against the mayor, some groups showed up again to counter protest. In Seattle, is Seattle finished? Sorry, the text is kind of small for me to read a bit. Let me just zoom in just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Much better. Yes. Ow. 3 days later, when there were protests against the mayor, the same group showed up again to counter protest them. Is Seattle finished, or can Trump's administration fix it? I think they can. So we're gonna dive into the video and see what the dealio is. Okay, I know the description is just giving a bit of a leeway, just a mild synopsis, but yeah, let's dive into the video. And once again, go subscribe and check out Deco Voice's content. He does good stuff. I highly encourage it. I'll leave the original video in the description for you to go for yourself, to check out for yourself. God, I can't even talk straight, dude. It's fucking Monday.
Seattle's mayor seems to protect Antifa over his own police force, and it's finally backfiring. As at May Day USA's second event, journalist Jonathan Cho was attacked by Antifa.
Okay. Now they want police. Okay. Let's see. California, or at least the majority of the fucking liberal states, the blue states and whatnot, have completely have gone into utter chaos. If you haven't seen what's going on, looting, rioting, crime has gone up way up exponentially, because the overall take on the police is that they're just gonna be racist and start killing colored folk left and right, when it's a little counterproductive, when those this is not racist. This is what the evidence suggests. Okay, this is by the federal FBI database, is that people, especially black people, unfortunately commit most of the crimes in America, murder, robbery, etc. Whatever the reason is, and how it goes down that rabbit hole. Look it up for yourself. But I'm not gonna explain for like an entire hour about like why that is and whatnot. You guys can do that for yourself. But example, poverty is an example, is also a cause, and it's not necessarily like an issue that can be solved overnight. It's kind of complex, and I know it sounds like, oh, just sweeping under the bed, and I get it. Yeah, you're partially right. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, poverty is extremely hard to combat, but it can be fixed with with certain programs and solutions and etc. But ultimately, the big thing is like people need to learn how to help themselves too. Government can't be helping the majority of the time, dude. Like fucking a, the government can only do so much, and it also comes with headaches, with attachments. If you want the government to do this, well, guess what? You're gonna have to, sell a part of your soul, so to speak, to the government. Freaking, that's why I fucking hate taxes. Taxes is fucking ridiculous these days. It's gotten so out of hand that I think we need to, dumb it down to an extent. Because even though yes, we do need it. I'm not gonna lie, we do need it, but it needs to be like be investigated and properly handled, and start giving our god damn it, what the worst part about this is, that also that the freaking retards that freaking voted for this, I'm the one freaking paying for this trash too, when I don't even never voted for stuff like this. I believe we need police, and just because a few bad apples and social media and news networks have overinflated on how cops are terrible and when I was like, no, not really. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, like, have you done something that's like worthy of that worthy of being illegal or a crime? And when I don't know, some people need to kind of like go back and evaluate themselves a little bit.
And even ran at Katie Davis court as well.
Okay. Look at these fucking retards, dude. These fucking crazy people.
To which the police complained about her.
Make a choice now. Well, we keep coming out here and putting officers in this situation. We need to stop.
Yeah.
Although they eventually did make a few arrests, it really seems like the police were reluctant.
Oh man, dude, they should have just rounded up everybody. Fuck that. Because I know Seattle right now is a little bit on the microscope and whatnot, just because of this event and whatnot, but there's other blue states and whatnot that have been like going off the rails, like San Francisco and Michigan. Fuck, I forgot the name of the city. It escapes my head. I'm freaking having blonde moments now. But yeah, a lot of these liberal big city states, blue states, sorry, are fucking like going off the rails, in which, like I said earlier, there's a lot of crime going around, rioting, stealing, assault. I mean, the whole book, almost, basically. Not the whole book, but like there's a lot of bad shit happening. Sorry, correct myself. Yeah, there's a lot of bad shit happening there that I don't think I would ever want to walk around in those kinds of streets. Not without like police being present, and being having a strong arm in these cities, because policing is necessary. It keeps people in order. It keeps the crazies away to a certain extent. But most of all, it's just because I live in Texas, we are allowed to carry, right? And if you're smart, if you're smart, and if something were to happen, like one of these namby-pambies in the video you just saw right there, starts going off the rails and start acting crazy and starts putting hands on you, well, you know what? You're gonna get a freaking belly full of HP ammo in you, and people will ask questions later. Well, we'll shoot you first and ask questions later.
Reluctant to actually arrest anybody. As being in a deep blue city like Seattle, I don't necessarily blame them, as the city's mayor made this much worse himself, because what was initially a
I mean, he ain't the only one. A whole bunch of fucking, a lot of these damn liberal judges and mayors, governors, etc., they need to be, you know, kicked out of their office and have better people in office, really. Even if they are blue, I can guarantee you that there are better Democrats that have better heads on their shoulders, you know, that know that policing and, you know, some of just the essential stuff in order to make a society work would be in favor for. Because it's not rocket science that you need police. It's not rocket science that you need a fire department. It's not rocket science that you need a first responders. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Almost lost the word. But yeah, first responders. 911. Come on, dude. This isn't like rocket science. It's just basic essential need. It's basic math. You need A plus B in order to, you know, keep things in order.
Christian
Without rules and order, we become animals, unfortunately.
prayer rally got
I don't give a fuck if that offends you, but oh great, I just burned myself. Yeah, I am a freaking animal. I'm a freaking wolf, a space wolf.
labeled as fascist family values, and now the feds.
Fascist family values? Having a family is now fascism? Wow, this is turning into quite the spectacle.
Actually had to step in, as on May 24th, May Day USA held a Christian concert for Hands.
Okay, now I see. I only saw like a glimpse that it was a concert, a Christian concert, but okay, now I get what the band was called. Okay, so Mayday is the name of the group. Okay, I get it. Don't mess with our kids. Yeah, that's the fact that, you know, that has to be even said is just freaking mind-boggling to me, dude. I can't believe, like, you know, we're in this place and time, and, you know, that needs to be said. And honestly, if you think that making kids trans or gay or whatever, I'm gonna look at you and my freaking PDF file radar is gonna go off. All right, I'm just gonna basically look at you, because since you're doing it to me, since you think I'm a Nazi for saying this or whatever, but I'm gonna look at you and say, I think you're a PDF file, and the only reason why you want children to go through such things and follow such narratives is because you, well, you know, with children. And any degenerate that's a PDF file needs to be on a cross and crucified, really. I think we should bring crucifixion back, like in the Roman times. People need to be made an example of, really. It's really disgusting. It's not even, I don't know how the hell that's like, you know, not, that this issue shouldn't even be like, you know, a party or a left wing or right wing type of issue. It's just an issue. It's an everybody issue. There's no way in hell I would if I had kids, no way in hell I would freaking send them to some fruitcake school.
All for kids, until massive amounts of protesters lined
Antifa.
up to protest against the Christians.
Yes, of course.
Even throwing water balloons filled with likely not water. So eventually Seattle PD had to move in, making several arrests.
Arrested everybody, dude.
Antifa militants being arrested and put in the wagon.
But apparently the mayor didn't like that, as his official statement labeled it a
extreme right. How the hell is them just having a peaceful concert other than the stupid retards that are offended by Jesus calling it a right wing? They didn't do shit. They weren't throwing things at anybody. They were the ones getting stuff thrown at.
Right-wing rally, saying Seattle is proud of its reputation, but the far-right rally held here is opposed to our city's values, and he's retarded. Grateful for those who make their voices heard.
Bro, like, I guarantee you no one gives a shit whether if you're trans or a damn alphabet person or whatever, but if you go around and start shoving your bullshit on everybody, then I'm gonna have an issue with it. And even more so once you start indoctrinating kids into this narrative as well and getting to believe that, oh yeah, that they're a girl even though they're a boy, like all this fucking wacko bullshit. Because this isn't a kid issue or anything like that. This is something that it shouldn't even be allowed in the classrooms to be taught to fucking kids in the first place, dude. How the hell is this an issue? This is not. Oh my god, it freaking pisses me off that we're even in this realm right now. No, lady. My dog is walking around. She wants to go outside, but like, no, not right now. Fudge, what was I saying? Oh yeah, this is I mean, it should go without saying, it's honestly just freaking common sense, dude. I guarantee you that no one honestly gives a shit that whether if you're freaking gay, straight, or whatever, trans, that no one honestly would give a shit. Leave people alone. Yeah, do your own thing and not bother anybody. Freaking cool. We're solid. We'll be cool. And you stay that way and want to get buddy, then by all means. Definitely nothing wrong with that. I have a couple of friends that happen to be, you know, are gender bending or trans or whatever, or LGBTQ, whatever. And they're pretty much like on par with me as well. I have no problem with it. But the problem that, of course, I do have with is the narrative and the approach and how aggressive they're going about all this, and somehow call it abuse that if you're not letting a child choose to be a man or a woman or whatever the fuck that they are when they're biologically not, because somehow overnight we just freaking changed the whole science book, basically, right? The whole laws of science and biology no longer exist.
Without resorting to violence in the face of extreme right-wing national effort. It's almost like the mayor purposely ignored what actually happened and just wrote what he wanted to be true.
Yeah.
As apparently it doesn't matter if journalists like Cho or Davis Court provide you 4K evidence of violence, they're just gonna hunker down with their fire.
Yeah, even in 4K, ultra high definition, we got you on camera and what you did. I was like, no, it wasn't me.
But mostly peaceful
deny.
As Cho's show points out, the media tried to do it again, where the Daily Mail reported it as
outrage.
Christian prayer rally attacked by mob, while the Seattle Times said 23 arrests at fascist family values protest, oddly omitting who was attacking who and the religious aspect of the story.
And, you know, of course, like, the thing, like I know there'll probably be there's also, like, you know, I'm pretty sure a type of thinking that, like, you know, then how the hell, like, you know, this group hasn't been, like, you know, disbanded or investigated in. Well, I can probably say that maybe they are. They're probably, I'm more than likely they're under the microscope regardless, and so forth. But, you know, the reason why, like, you know, this group is still, like, you know, allowed to exist is the same reason why the KKK exists, or any other racially biased or you know, racial group out there other than the KKK, which I'm pretty sure there are more than one. Is because they're protected by the First Amendment, unfortunately. And even though it might sound like a negative, it's what makes this country great, because like there was a South Park episode about this too, and it was the one where Chef was protesting, or brought up the issue to the mayor that the South Park flag had a black man basically being lynched by a group of whites, and that's a South Park flag. And on the opposite side, Jimbo was like, "Don't change history." It's that was like his whole point is it's history. But like Chef's opposition was that like it's obviously racist, dude. Like, come on, there's like four black there's one black person in the flag being lynched by a group of white people and so forth. So like we all know what it is, of course, right? And then later in the episode, the KKK comes and Chef points out to Officer Barbrady, telling Officer Barbrady like, "Why don't you arrest them?" And Officer Barbrady was like, "Well, I don't like them. We don't like them. Even myself, I don't like them. But I can't arrest them just for talking." Which which were they're honestly were doing, as you can say, they're like of course saying white power and blah blah blah, and we're with you, brother, and so forth. All this racial slander against Chef, and yeah, Barbrady made honestly a very good point that like we don't like them, but we can't arrest them just for talking, because hate is hate. And I can understand that dynamic, and it's like, yeah, this is almost no different, that just because you go around and saying like, "Oh, I hate you and your race and whatnot," but you don't do anything about it other than just say, of course, just like awful shit, is just it's not going to be necessarily you'll get arrested for because you're protected by the First Amendment. That's usually how it should be, but there have been some cases in which people think that individuals should be arrested just for saying awful things, just like that woman that called that one black kid the N-word, right? And there's like been a lot of talk behind it, and people saying that she should be canceled and etc. And like I don't align with what she's saying, and obviously what she said was like awful, and the reason behind it is like, I get it, but she could have gone honestly a better way about it, of course. But she shouldn't have her life ruined just for speaking her mind or whatever, even though even she is racist. If she, of course, touched him and like slapped him across, and like, yeah, that would be a different issue or whatever. There's even actually another there was another article that I actually read this morning about a child being slapped by a woman because she was called Miss Piggy, basically being called fat, and she smacked him, and then later she got the child's head and smashed it into the window of the airplane, because they were in an airplane in Orlando and they were leaving Disneyland, I believe, and they were getting ready to take off, and they were on the flight waiting to be departed. And then all of a sudden, like, this kid just started calling her fat and blah blah blah, and eventually I guess she just lost her cool, and then which I understand, we're human. Most of the times you should be like in control and whatnot, but whatever the reason is, maybe she was like on on a very a long waiting, it took, probably, or was there waiting just to get on the plane to leave, of course, and whatnot, and that can, of course, get people to a certain degree, and they get, frustrated and etc. We're human, I get it, but she I guess still maintained control up until that part where she was starting being called names, being called fat by the child, and basically lashed out and smacked him in the mouth. Now, for me, I would say that if I were to do that, and because it's happened before when I was younger, and my parents did believe in disciplining me whenever I stepped out of line, and there were many occasions where that happened because I was a little shit. I'm not gonna lie. If you get out of line, you deserve to be disciplined. And I think that's one of the things that's like wrong with society these days, is that no one gives their children a good ace whooping anymore, for obvious reasons. But it's kind of the reasons why our society has gotten so fucking soft these days. So that's my 2 cents on that.
As it was a Christian concert saying leave the kids alone, with plenty of kids in attendance, getting mobbed by a group ironically carrying signs saying no hate in our neighborhood and choose love, stand with us.
Yeah, so they're such fucking hypocrites for real at this point. It's so blatantly obviously that they're fucking hypocrites. It doesn't matter what they say is like love thy neighbor or whatever. Like, yeah, you say that, but you throw a water balloon at or a pea balloon probably. What a fucking joke, dude, really. Y'all honestly shouldn't be the ones to be advocating for this type of thing, or even using such phrases like love thy neighbor. Like, yeah, you don't even fucking believe in Jesus, so what the hell are you even doing here?
Or love thy neighbor shit. And stop far-right violence. It's almost like they label anything they don't like as far-right or fascist, just so they can justify it.
Exactly. If you disagree with me, or I disagree with you, I'm Hitler, basically.
Attacking it. As it got so bad, Seattle even had to deploy their poetry police. I imagine it's just an acronym, but I equally believe Seattle PD would pilot some slam poetry peace officers, as they saw the worst sign I've ever seen, saying, I heart boy, and then another word for cat.
Wow, that's very telling. I heart boy. Keep your Bible off.
There's really nowhere in public you should be waving that sign, but this concert has to be the worst. But what makes this even worse is even after all the arrests, since the mayor seemed to side with the protesters, when Mayday USA called for the mayor to resign 3 days later, the same group protested them.
He resigned? Okay, so then he did have to leave his job. He did get rid of then.
Again.
I wasn't sure about that.
Christians and their allies went scorched earth on Mayor Bruce Harrell outside Seattle City Hall.
You spelled speech wrong.
Pastor Russell Johnson led the charge, demanding an apology or a resignation
from
Harrell
will not be silenced
after he labeled their peaceful concert at Cal Anderson Park over the weekend an extreme right-wing rally.
This time feeling bold enough to square up with the police. Now, I don't want to be mean to someone that may be terribly ill, but realistically, Blue Hat should never feel emboldened to fight that much larger police officer, unless the police officer's boss both publicly endorsed and encouraged it. As we saw earlier, they attacked Jonathan Cho, then went after Katie Davis Court, and then went after other attendees not recording. Even this mother with her kid, which I don't even think I can show on here. So the Seattle police shut down entire sections of the city, and actually had to escort the religious group out of the area.
Bro, actually, at this point, with all these fucking places that are going through complete degeneracy, I think they need to instill martial law and start getting fucking people a real good fucking rain check in which how things are going to look for them if they don't stop their bullshit, really. Because you can go ahead and freaking protest all you want. I'll be an advocate for that. Share your do your bullshit. Say your bullshit. The moment you start fucking inciting violence and throwing things and whatnot, then you've lost me. Then you freaking deserve to be put away in prison. Really, let's not even go jail. Let's go fucking prison. Let's go all the way. Start putting people in freaking prison. I think people will start, acting right accordingly, and then we can probably bring some of the stuff down to a degree.
But then the Police Officers Guild put out this ominous warning, stating over 700 coppers have fled the city due to lack of action against Antifa criminals who dictate public safety. And now
oh damn, dude, that is whoa. Hold on, let's go back a little bit. I want to read that. Okay, sorry. Over 700 officers have fled the city in the past decade. This is due to the public safety political decision by our elected leaders. Activist pressure and further lack of action against Antifa criminals will continue to deduct public safety political terms. The remaining police officers in the city are tired. Our community is tired. This is Seattle public safety political reality. Bro, if it comes to the point where that the precinct police officer group or whatever has to go out and tweet and post about like the state of things and whatnot, how the fuck is the National Guard isn't stepping in, or the army, or, the military? I think a strong military presence with the order to shoot to kill. If people start doing a lot of fuckery, then I think it's starting to put declare martial law. You passed, if you're out and past the curfew date and whatnot, put you down. It might sound harsh, but I think that's what needs to happen because people are getting way too out of hand, and trying their luck a little too much here now. I mean, even the goddamn cops freaking said, like, yeah, we're not gonna stick around here to freaking fight for some bullshit and to get killed over it. Yeah, this is fucking crazy, dude. I can't believe that cities like this are up to this point and whatnot. However, I don't think you'll ever really catch me in living in a major metropolitan city. I'll visit maybe. Well, I probably won't even bother visiting if it's gonna be like this. Fuck that. I'll stay in places that are actually good to go visit, like countryside, like the mountains and stuff like that. I'll probably go take a trip to Wyoming and visit the Yellowstone or whatever national parks are out there, really.
Safety. And now they do not have the staffing to handle these demonstrations.
Yeah, they don't have the staff whatsoever anymore. 700, dude, over the course of 10 years is fucking crazy, dude. And yeah, why would you even want to freaking work in a goddamn city that doesn't even value your life and basically voted for like, fuck you, and basically, outright labels you as a racist just for pulling a black guy over for speeding when they were honestly in the wrong, or people that were honestly in the wrong for that matter. And it's like, not even the case. Like, dude, I'm just doing my job because this guy just happened to go over the speed limit or do whatever kind of fuckery that they involved themselves in, and brought the individual out. Turns out to be like so and so. Not that they were racially profiling and whatnot, but that's where that's what the golf poles freaking landed on, or I mean the spinner, freaking spinner or whatever the hell you call it, the color spinner, whatever the fuck. Let's just say the Uno card. Okay, let's just go with that. Okay, the Uno card landed on this dude, you know, and he's that color, and fucking because it's gonna be a wild. Okay, it's gonna be a wild card, and then finds tells the individuals like, okay, roll down your window car down, your window shield down for me, please. Dun dun dun. Then you know whoever it is, it's in their tally mark.
Turn into mass arrests, as
know.
1/4 of their remaining officers are eligible to retire, which may lead to even further turnover. And again, it looks like this is all going as planned. The mayor publicly supports the protesters while ignoring the pleas of their police, which gives the activists exactly what they wanted by dismantling law enforcement from within. I just don't think the mayor expected the feds to step in, as Deputy Director Dan Bongino stated they will look into the attacks in Seattle as freedom of religion isn't a suggestion, with the mayor responding, free speech protections are fundamental. We will not shy away from standing up for Seattle residents and values under pressure from the Trump administration.
Oh, but you know what? I think, spoiler alert, I think you will, though.
Why does it always seem like the mayor is just the PR department for Antifa? Because I imagine he thinks he's earning favor from these activists, completely oblivious to the fact that at some point, he's going to disagree with the mob, and they'll quickly forget all the protection that he once gave them.
Man, that's cap. This freaking dude is in favor for them for whatever reason, whether it being political or probably if he honestly is being like, you know, being paid under the table for it and whatnot, then that's obviously obviously questionable and needs to be investigated as well. But as Decoy here also stated that the feds got involved and whatnot, so now they're investigating. And Jesus Christ, dude, who fucking knows what is going on under the books, you know?
But I don't feel sorry for Seattle. I'll just say sayonara.
Yeah.
I know that's.
Yeah, I don't go fuck. I don't go fuck about Seattle anymore anyway. Even though that a couple of my favorite groups like Nirvana and Alice in Chains came from there.
The Japanese.
The state known for its grunge bands.
Word. Well, whatever, weebs. I don't need your approval to alliterate. But if you appreciate my concise, light order commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, subscribe to Decoy Voice.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, guys, like I said, and like Decoy said, go subscribe. Check out his stuff. Does good videos, man. I swear to freaking God. Goes straight to the point. Doesn't even have to go like on a long ass tangent or whatever. Just nice, short and sweet to the point. It's honestly a good format, really, and how he conducts his videos. I freaking love it. Good shit. Shout out again to Decoy Voice. Go check out his. I'll leave the video in the description, guys. Go check it out, please. Show him some love because he deserves it. He covers a lot of these type of stories and gives everyone the know-how and how the state of things are going. So yeah, with my final thought is that you know, if we lose Seattle, then you know, fuck it. I'm gonna give a fuck, really. I live in Texas, okay. I'm a Texan, okay. So it is not gonna. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it, really. If Seattle were to disappear overnight, then you know, maybe y'all should have freaking stop attacking Christians for what they're doing and whatnot, especially if they're not even honestly doing anything to you other than just having a freaking concert and just saying leave our children alone, you know. I don't even know how the hell that's even a freaking issue, really, or how the fuck that's even an issue, really. I can't wrap my head around it, really. It's just mind-boggling that it's, you know, it's come to that. And yeah, it's the state that we're living in, unfortunately. So excuse me, there's that. But anyways, all right, guys, yeah, that's gonna be it for me. I'll I'll see if I can cover more stuff like this, because yeah, I don't. Anyways, we'll see if something interesting like this pops up. So we'll see. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Later, bye.